This is just a little video talking about how everything you do can make a difference. We built a wildlife pond from a pond liner I'd gotten for free. We added some plants, made a nice aquatic feature in our yard, and I've watched birds and countless animals come and get water from that. And then I just found a pond liner, like a heavy duty pond liner, and I was able to build another second wildlife pond in my yard. And then the same lady had another pond liner. These were just remnants from her really big pond that she made, and she let me have both of them. So I had built a second pond, and then I ended up building that third pond, and I now have 3 bullfrogs. And the reason that's actually incredible is that I don't have any major bodies of water near my house, so that bullfrog would have had to have traveled up to a mile at least, or something, or somebody put it there, I don't know. But whatever happened, it was unbelievable. But I watched this one bullfrog turn into 2, and then I went out and looked, and I had this bullfrog out there. Y'all, it was honestly this big. You can't understand how big that is until you realize how big my hands are. And this right here, this will show you for scale. Here's a soda can. The bullfrog was that big, y'all. So, really incredible. But I saw something interesting on the news, and it's about the Okefenokee Swamp, which is in Georgia, and that's just north of Florida, where I'm from. And they're trying to get it nominated to become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and that would be an incredible designation and could create so much added benefit for that area, and just ensuring that it never becomes degraded to the extent that a lot of wild places have been. So if designated, the refugee would join more than 1,000 cultural and natural sites that are all of different and universal importances. They help all of us. They're very important. This ties right into the story of the American alligator and how it was on the brink of extinction. This is one of the most concentrated sites for the American alligator. And also just a little bit of information about the Okefenokee would be like the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, consists of more than 400,000 acres encompassing 92% of the Okefenokee Swamp, a large hydrologically intact swamp that is the source of 2 rivers, one that flows into the Atlantic and the other that flows into the Gulf of Mexico. It is one of the world's largest naturally driven freshwater ecosystems in the temperate zone, with a diversity of habitat types, including 21 vegetative types. The refuge's undisturbed peat beds store valuable information on environmental conditions over the past 5,000 years and are a significant source of information related to global changes. So there's some baseline information as to the importance of the site. And it talks about, I saw in another article, how it originally got designated as a national wildlife refuge, the American National Wildlife Refuge, which was done in the 1930s, I believe, and that was done by Roosevelt. And as you may know, he was responsible for many of our national wildlife refuges like Yellowstone and many more. I don't know them all, but there's a lot. So basically what we're starting to see more so now is a more inclination to really try to hold on to what we got. We've lost so much. If you really just get on Google Maps and you can look at the darkest green areas. Don't pick the Okefenokee though, but look at the darkest green areas, and you can zoom right on in, and you'll actually look and see they're all chopped up into blocks. We have really altered the landscape that we all live in. I just released the coyote video, and the coyote video is actually a testament to how we've altered the land here, because the coyote wasn't supposed to be here and never was here, and neither was the red fox. And both those carnivorous canines were in that same video. Oddly, neither of them were here in the natural setting when settlers first landed in Florida and inhabited Florida. There had been other predatory animals like Puma concolor or the Florida panther, and also the red wolf, which is thought to be a hybrid between a gray and a coyote wolf, or a coyote and a gray wolf. They thought might be how the red wolf came, but if it was from that, then it had happened so far ago that it still had diversified enough to now become its own unique species as well. No different than a fox and a red wolf or a gray wolf. They're still all separate species. And a lot of times the difference in species isn't only from a lack of their ability to reproduce, like how a fish and a turtle can't breed. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's a geographical isolation creates a new species. So like Puma concolor corii and Puma, the one that is just considered the mountain lion, not the Florida panther, they might actually be able to interbreed, but because of geographical distribution alone, they're considered separate species because they have unique genome. And once you cut a population in half, they start to move apart. Their genes actually change. Once we reintroduce species back into the population, then we actually bring it all back together and they start getting more similar. Which happened with the Florida panther. We almost lost them. And I'm glad that we did reintroduce the normal mountain lion back to Florida, even though the legend of the Florida panther was a black panther. There's no black panther seen anytime recently, but I've heard stories from people I know that said they saw them, and I don't know. Everybody sees something that says something, but I don't know if they're real or not. And that's right up here in North Florida, believe it or not. But like Mallory Swamp, that's actually a huge swamp as well. Maybe not as big as the Okefenokee, but it might even actually, I think Mallory is part of the Okefenokee where it drains in. But legends, there are some black panthers in the Mallory Swamp. Interesting that they're actually doing something for global recognition for such a ecologically important habitat here, just right where I live, which is makes you feel really good that they're doing that here. And these things, it doesn't matter anything about yourself. It's about all of us. It's not about race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, who's president. None of that matters when you're talking about the entire world and population. We're talking about the existence or non-existence of some keystone species, to which the Okefenokee Swamp actually has several keystone species, including, I had seen it earlier, endangered species for sure, the wood stork being one. There's even legends that the ivory-billed woodpecker could still exist within the dense Okefenokee Swamp region, and in Louisiana they say they've seen them. But so we don't know how important the Okefenokee Swamp is, but we know it's a vast undisturbed habitat, and it's something we certainly don't want to take for granted. This is said to possibly take place. Secretary Highland, Assistant Secretary, visited the refuge in 2022, where they're from local community leaders. So I don't know when we'll actually get the confirmation on this, if it's gonna pass for the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Whether it does or not, just having a little extra attention brought to such a valuable ecosystem right here in Florida area, Georgia per se, but flowing down through Florida, is cool to see that there is still a lot of positive things that are going to happen. There's been a lot of stuff in the news lately. The dire wolf is back now, and I could go into a long video about the dire wolf. I really could. I saw a lot of misinformation when I watched some of the videos. Just people saying that some stuff bothered me. It's just like, this isn't a dire wolf. It's like, dude, okay, it's not. You're not going to have a 10,000-year-old organism created in 2025 that is the same as the 10,000-year-old organism. It is a new species, but its traits are the dire wolf. Its niche in the ecosystem is the dire wolf, and its appearance is the dire wolf. Therefore, what do we really have here? We have the dire wolf. So the genes are important, but it's the niche in the ecosystem that humans, when first introduced to this habitat, North America, altered, disturbed, and caused them to go extinct, which has rippling effects throughout the ecosystems that took millions of years to develop here, throughout the North American continent and even South American. I don't know how the range of the dire wolf, but the point is that we, even from the moment we, the apex predators with the big brains, stepped onto North America, when we got here, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about Native Americans, Hispanics, Africans, Caucasians, any humans, big brain people, got here, we altered the habitat. And the problem with humans is when we alter habitats, we're so smart that we conquer, and we're not smart enough to understand that we have completely ruled over and pushed them animals out. So I mean, we're still needing to get our dodo birds back. We still need to get our woolly mammoths back. We still have to get an actual breeding population with genetic diversity of dire wolves back. We need to reintroduce the Tasmanian tiger to the Australian and Tasmanian ecosystems, and we have to do that sooner than later, because the habitats are still somewhat there that those animals existed in, but the carnivorous and apex predators of those habitats isn't. So the habitat is consistently altering. So if we were to reintroduce the red wolf, which is some of the same research that they're working on, then we can help bring back the actual habitat that Florida's supposed to be. And the only way we can do that is to give these animals vast range. So what do we need to do? We need to preserve things like the Okefenokee Swamp, the Maori Swamp, the Florida Greenway, and people, because people own all this land now. We need to be stewards of the land, and we need to open the plains, plant the trees and plants, attract the pollinators, build the ecosystem from the ground up, and then we support the smaller things we build into creating and sustaining larger organisms. But if we don't start with the dirt and planting the seeds, we'll never be able to establish a habitat that can support apex predators such as dire wolves, anything. And I'll tell you the truth, the lack of apex predators, and even though we've got coyotes now, as I proved in my video, and red foxes, as I proved in my video, they can't take down a deer. So what happens with the deers? All we have to control and check deer populations is us hunters, cars and traffic, and diseases such as CWD and old age. And that's what's keeping the deer in check now. And then you might suggest that down South Florida, pythons, they don't eat deer that much though, y'all. And it takes a really large python, but before they get to the size to eat deers, eat all those animals down in the lower part of the food chain, your rabbits, your squirrels, your raccoons, your possums, your armadillos, your American alligators, your turtles, you name it. Every animal down below that's supposed to be here is getting wiped out due to these non-native species like the Burmese python. We've got Nile monitors. We've had the tegu lizards. The green iguanas are everywhere down there. We got tegus. It's a damn jungle down there, y'all. I don't even want to go into all the different reptiles that exist here now. But if you follow my Instagram, you'll see several examples of non-natives. I mean, we've got monk parakeets. We've got, I'm not saying we got them, y'all. Like, they're everywhere now. And these right here, this photograph of that in Florida, that's a damn monkey. There are no native monkeys to the North American continent. The only monkeys that exist in the New World are all in South America. But in Florida alone, we have 3 species of monkeys I found in the wild here myself. Rhesus macaque, I forgot, it's an African vervet monkey. And then I've also seen squirrel monkeys. down in Dania Beach. I saw the vervets. In Silver Springs, I saw the macaques. In the botanical gardens down close to where I saw the vervets in Dania Beach area, Fort Lauderdale, I saw the squirrel monkeys. They small population allegedly. They said that they might just say that to keep people out of there, and so they don't try to change it. Not that I want to. I love them. They're really cool, actually. But so we have these non-native animals here, and I mean monkeys are thriving. You know, I've heard the recent macaque has made it 200 miles. They picked him up down like 200 miles away. I don't know exactly how far away that is. It's like from the middle of Florida to the coast. Because the Silver River flows from the largest artisan springs, which is Silver Springs, to the coast, and they just follow the coastline. So I can go all day, y'all. I really could, but I wanted to cover the main points of we had a win today. We are applying and are hopefully going to be accepted into the UNESCO World Heritage Site for the Okefenokee Swamp, which can have a rippling effect and positive effect for our ecosystems, and that you have a power to actually help the ecosystem too. And it starts with the little ones, y'all. So even if you live in an apartment and have a windowsill, you can provide habitat and wildflowers to support a migratory species of butterflies, like the monarch butterflies, puts the milkweed in. You can support bird populations for migratory birds, such as the goldfinches and some other migratory birds. Obviously, you have tons of robins and stuff like that. That's not really a porch bird, though. By providing them some food that they need, like the goldfinches need millet, like they love millet. You can get that cheaply if you buy pigeon food. Pigeon food is packed full of millet. Be careful, you can get old pigeon food and it'll be a negative. But know what you're buying. You can support other migratory birds such as tanagers. You just need to put out an orange colored feeder with some any kind of jelly. The cheapest is sun, and they'll come in and they'll feed, and they're one of the most beautiful birds there are. So what can you do? Well, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want, because you don't have to do this in your own place. Everybody knows somebody who has some land. Everybody lives in a place where there's land around you. Everybody steps foot on land every day. And if not, maybe you have some financial contribution you can make to maybe, buying trees, talking, sharing, educating. Learning is the big one. It starts with learning yourself. If you want to do the most, well, you gotta learn. You gotta know where it is you can be effective. These videos are designed to try to give you ideas. This is not like a you must do. This is like just me talking to y'all, looking for input, just really being excited watching everything unfold, not only just here in my own place, like I was telling you about the bullfrogs, and that I built the ponds, and that now I saw 3 bullfrogs, y'all. One was like that big. And never would have thought. Another update, y'all. 3 or 4 years ago, I had installed a really large birdhouse. It's like an apartment building. It's got 6 on one side, 6 on the other, 12 homes, and then nothing happened. I had a bluebird, was I think nested in there. I never saw it produce any young or eggs. Then I saw a hawk sitting on top. I was like, dang, this is kind of a bummer. This year, y'all, 2 purple martins. That's a martin house I put up. First time, 4 years later, 2 purple martins in the martin house. So that's a win. That's a win. I've watched as the Indian blankets were planted as seeds that I took from somebody who was a birder, planted and got a few plants, and the next year I got more plants, and then I got more plants, and then they just keep growing, and like I'm getting more and more of these Indian blanket flowers. I've got black-eyed Susans popping up all over the property. I've got tons of flowering trees, native and introduced by me, like bottle brush, fire spike, crepe myrtles that just randomly seeded, hundreds of citrus trees. And the honeybees and other pollinators love citrus flowers. So planting different varieties of flowers. No too much of one thing, y'all. We don't want that. We want a diverse ecosystem, and not a monoculture. So at the same time, while I'm growing citrus that can be producing food to support myself and my family, it's supporting the entire ecosystem by creating food for pollinators. So this is just a short video to give you some ideas on what you could possibly do to contribute to the world we all live in. And it's up to you. If you watch this far, thanks. I really appreciate it. I didn't expect it. But if you had some other really cool topics, it doesn't have to be about anything in particular. It could be about anything. Preferably something to do with the natural wildlife world and not something that I'm not interested in. You know, animals, plants, ecosystems, conservation, and things like that. Insects. Let's do it, y'all. Let's make it happen. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.